It's Traci Ruble with Psyched Magazine. I come to you every Monday having lunch, but we're not having lunch. This is the second time because I like to talk to interesting people who inspire me and share them with you instead of hoarding them all to myself and hopefully raise some consciousness along the way. And today we have Thomas C. Knox coming to us live from New York City. Hi, Thomas.
Hi, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
You do this really cool thing.
I,
You do
I
this really cool thing called Date While You Wait.
yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Why? Why? Tell people what it is and why did you start doing it?
Absolutely, yeah. So Date While You Wait is a movement of sorts that I created to connect with people while they commute. So what I do is I sit in the subway here in New York and I play board games with people just because, everybody matters and we're all great. So my goal is just to have great interaction with people while they're waiting for the train or even when they get off the train and do something really, really cool, rather playing a game of Connect Four or just having a conversation.
Wow. So,
Thanks.
what kind of, what, first of all, tell me when you started doing this, how often you do it, and what made you start doing it?
Yeah, so I started doing it in June of 2015. So I'm almost at 2 years. Actually, June 13th will make 2 years. And I do it once a week. So I try to do it once a week,
Wow.
every week. Sometimes I don't do it. It kind of depends. So if I have another event that's Date While You Ain't related, I may not do it, but try to stick to a weekly schedule.
Yeah.
And yeah, what's their question? Don't want to forget their question.
Why?
Oh, why? Of course, that's always the big question. Why? Easy answer is because people. I want to connect with people, but to go a little bit deeper is negativity. I think a lot of great things come out of ideas come out of negativity, and I saw that there was a need for people to connect based off of some conversations I had with some friends, and decided to go take it into my own hands and go out and do something cool. So. Negativity is the real reason, seeing that people are not doing a great job of connecting and being so focused on technology. And it was like, how can I change the narrative when it comes to that?
Yeah. So you didn't want to just sit by. You wanted to do something.
Exactly. And I had thoughts in my mind to do things. I kept saying to myself, what can I do to connect with people?
Yeah.
And it all basically came from a conversation I had with a friend. And I just ran with it from there. So.
Okay. Well, but Thomas, you must be a little bit special because not everybody's doing this. Like, who are you? Where did you come from? You're like this angel that sort of descended onto a New York City subway. Like,
I appreciate it.
what shaped you to become somebody who wants to be like a superhero of connection and to fight
Lots of things.
negativity?
I love the way you put that. I might have to put that on my resume. I like that superhero of connection. Definitely dig it. I think the biggest thing is, I got to give it back to my parents. My parents have always guided me to be the type of person to be open-minded.
Thomas, I just lost you.
Yeah,
There.
that was something.
So
You there?
you're gonna need to go back and tell me that again because your screen cut out and I'm not
I
exactly
was like,
sure why.
where'd you go?
So
Sorry.
tell me about how great your parents are.
They're incredible. I love them. They're my parents. They're very interesting. Two totally different people. My mom's she's an extrovert. She's super energetic. She's the life of the party. My dad is super introvert. He doesn't want to be bothered. He just wants to he's a hard worker. Very straight to the point. They're just two totally opposite people. And as I get older, I realize that I have a lot of both of them in me. But sometimes when I'm with certain people, I'm more like my mom, and then sometimes when I'm with certain people, I'm more like my dad. So great people. Just very funny how they got together to conceive little old me because they are total opposites, like total
Yeah.
opposites.
Are
So
you
yeah,
an only? You have siblings?
I have not yet. I have three other siblings.
Okay. Where are you in the birth order?
I'm the oldest. Yeah, I'm the oldest.
Aha.
Yeah,
All
uh,
right.
yeah.
So do you think some of your desire to be a leader around human connection has to do with not only what your mom and dad taught you, but being an older brother?
Not exactly, because I didn't really grow with my siblings.
Okay.
Like there are points in our lives where I lived with my dad, my brothers lived with my mom, my brother and my sister lived with my mom, so I didn't really like grow up with them. The only one out of the so I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother who's right under me, who's 28. I'm 30. He's 28, and then I have another. My sister's younger. She's at 23, and then I have a younger brother who's 17. So my 17-year-old brother and my sister, I wasn't really around them much because
Yeah.
I live with my dad and we have different parents.
Got it.
Um, but now it's so funny. Now my younger brother actually lives with me. So both of my brothers live with me now here in
Wow.
New York. And I think now we're closer than we've ever been because we missed some time getting to know each other while we were younger. So um, we have we have epic basketball tournaments in my house. I don't know if you can see, but we have a little basketball hoop back there.
Oh,
That's we get it in,
so
we get it on.
well, so
Me
who are
and my
you for?
brothers.
Were you for the Cavs or are you for the Warriors?
I don't know why you had to go
Uh,
there.
it's
I'm
okay because my 9-year-old son is a total Cavs fan, so it's a real problem around my house right now.
I'm not a Cavs or Warriors fan, but if I have to go with the team, I'm going to go with the Cavs.
All right, all
Um,
right.
I like LeBron. I'm a big LeBron guy. So
Yeah, LeBron's all right. He's all right. I mean, I,
this is an argument I
I,
can't win.
no, it's all good. I sort of am starstruck by all professional athletes. I remember the first time I ever met someone famous. The only famous person I've ever been wooed by was this female triathlete when I was at the Olympics. I met her in person and I was starstruck. I've never been
Yeah.
starstruck by movie stars or anyone else, but a female professional triathlete, and I was quaking in my boots. So I don't know what that's about. Maybe I'm a little starstruck by you, though. I gotta say, it's fun. It's fun. You and I talked on the phone, but it was I didn't get to see your face. Now I get to see your face while we're talking, and I want to hear. So this thing that you've been doing, what people may not know, is it got a lot of press. Did you expect that to happen?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
And now it's become your vocation. You have quit your job. Do you want to talk about what that's been like to sort of move away from the comfort and stability of a paycheck to commit your entire life to this? How's that been?
Yeah, it's been very very. It's been like a roller coaster ride. It has its ups and it has its downs. Um, I I appreciate the freedom to be able to do what I love to do and do
Yeah.
it unapologetically. But it's nice to have a steady income. It's nice to know that you have health insurance and things like that. I've learned very quickly that if I want to be successful at this, I have to put, you know, you put 40 hours in at your regular 9 to 5. Most people, I hope, put in 40 hours. I have to put in 60 hours into, my
Yeah.
personal and into my company if I want it to be successful. So I'm learning that still. One thing I'm learning that I had trouble with when I started was structure.
Yeah.
I'll start my weeks out like, hey, these are the things I want to do, but I didn't really do a great job and kind of creating a plan and a to-do list and a workflow with that. But I'm a lot better with that now. And just being prideful. I think I'm not very prideful of my business. I'm very like quiet. So like I'll be in a room full of people and I won't say a word, and then somebody will notice me or somebody will say something to me, and then I'm like, oh, I do this thing while you wait, and then everybody in the room knows what it is.
Yeah.
And I don't really push it out. I'm very, very to myself when it comes to it because I don't want to be pushy. But when you have
Yeah.
a business, sometimes there are instances where you need to be pushy, or you need not so much to be pushy, but you need to be
Yeah.
more vocal, be more forward. So
You need to toot your horn.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I really hear that that's an edge for you. But now that you're doing this all on your own and your income is dependent on it, it sounds like that's something that's transforming inside of you. So how does one do that? How does one sort of show up and toot their horn without sounding like a self-absorbed jerk, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I think the biggest thing is knowing your audience. Know who you're talking to. There are times where I talk to people and they are uh, just their energy. I can tell them. I'm really big on vibes, so I can tell immediately how I have to go into the space and how I have to have the interaction, have the conversation. So it really kind of depends on that, and also the intent. Like I always have a positive mindset when I go into things. So even if the situation feels uncomfortable, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to be in a situation forever. So let me just kind of deal with it and figure out what next steps look like. So
Yep.
I think mindset, being intentional, that's something I have trouble with, because I have this series I do that I want to share with the world, but the world doesn't always see it the way I see it. So how can I articulate that in a way without, like you said, without making someone feel uncomfortable, or without saying, "Hey, I've been in the New York Times," or I've been in, like, I've never want to make anybody feel that way, because I wouldn't want to feel that way if I was talking to somebody in my shoes. So yeah, just figuring out, like, all these little things that kind of make sense when it comes to developing my business.
Well, you made me think of something. Do you go out of your way to, I mean, sometimes we do make people uncomfortable, just the very act of connecting. I mean, I have to imagine when you smile at someone and say, "Hey, you want to sit down and play Connect Four with me?" They feel a little uncomfortable, right?
Well, to be completely honest, I've never asked anybody to play with me.
They just sit
So
down.
they just sit down. I don't ask. That was something that when I first started this, I wanted to be, like, very intentional with how I went about connecting with people. And the
Yeah.
thing about DIY, and I think what makes it very successful, is that I never ask anybody or force anybody to connect with me. It's
Yeah.
basically, I'm there. If you want to connect, great. If you don't want to connect, great. Like, it's the ball's in your court based on your comfortability. So I've never asked anybody to sit with me since I've done it, and I've met thousands of people. I would say close to 1,000 people, just because people are, like, intrigued and are like, "Hey, what is this?" And then we have a deeper conversation. So, but yeah, I've never been one to be like, "Hey, come sit with me."
Here we come. Here we come. Hang with us, folks. Looks like we've got some connection issues on Thomas's side, so we'll just see if he comes back.
There
There
you
you
go.
are.
I'm like, "Hello, are you there? Hello."
I don't know which side it's on, but
I still see people joining, and I see me live. I'm like, "Hey guys, so Tracy will be right back."
well, I could see you, so it was happening on both sides. That's weird. Or I was still okay. So Thomas, I wanted to ask you. You know, you're doing this piece around human connection, and what do you ultimately believe happens when we focus on bringing human connection back in style?
I think the world is a better place.
Yeah,
It always goes back to I always get this image in my head of these little kids hugging, and one's black, one's white, and it's like they don't know race.
yeah,
Like, the race doesn't matter as kids. I always think about things like that, because I feel like as we develop as young adults, adolescents, and we go through adulthood, we see things happen in our lives that guide us a certain way. So we look at things
yeah,
differently, and sometimes negative, sometimes positive, and sometimes we're in between. But uh, for me, I always try to look at every situation I go into as just a mindset of, this is like a positive mindset. This is what it can be if I give out this type of energy. If it doesn't work out, great. What did I learn from it, and then I can move on from there. So, but I feel like throughout our lives and our childhood, through our teenage years and adulthood, we just go through a lot that may or may not put us in situations where we look at different things in different ways.
right.
And that was something that was, I look at doing like a day while you wait.
Yeah. You're speaking the language of therapy, and I'm a therapist for a living. I mean, I do believe that our young lives shape who we are. But if someone didn't have the kind of parenting and upbringing and exposure that you had, what do you think could make the difference later on in their life to make them want to make the world a better place?
Yeah, I think for every person, you have to figure out what's important to you, and when you find what's important to you, how do you strive to make it better? So, quite honestly, I don't know much about climate change, right? this or they saw that. How does that look? Wait, hello? Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's so
I'm just
weird
sitting
that
here. I know. I
I'm
might have to switch platforms. Have you ever used
must
this platform before?
I'm not. I'm like, what's going
The
on?
first the first time I used it, it was great. And the last two times, it's been weird. I don't know what's going on. So next time I might have to have you back on and use another platform.
I'm totally down. I'm following the rules here. It says use Chrome. I downloaded Chrome. I'm ready to I'm here for you guys. Let's do
Oh,
it.
that's right, because you're
We
an
live.
Apple user, right? You're an Apple
Yeah,
user.
all day, all day. I worked there for a long time, so I got to represent.
Well, um, I guess let's see how long this lasts, but I just want to ask you if people want to get involved with changing their own little corner of the world, even if they've had, maybe they're a little curmudgeonly, but they're inspired. They're like, gosh, the world's gotten so bad that I need to do something. How do you think you change your mindset? What do you think it is that gets people taking it up?
Yeah, well, a lot of times, and you probably dealt with this when it comes to working with people and patients and things like that. A lot of times, when something negative happens to somebody, then they're super on it. If someone, God forbid, one of my friends gets shot, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go and become a community activist because I don't want anybody else to get shot. But if it's my neighbor's son, it's like, I'm sorry for my neighbor. So I think I think people just have to be more open to not one being uncomfortable when you step into specific industries and lanes, and then two, just put your best foot forward for whatever passion or whatever priority or whatever thing you want to focus on. Because for me, I always wanted to be the guy to lead by example, so I just
Yeah.
did things. I didn't really like. And even now, like when I go to the subway, I freak out. Like I have moments where I'm like, I might get stopped today. Like today I'm going to a new station and I don't know what the station looks like. I don't know the people there, but I just do it and whatever happens, happens. And so I would caution, or I would tell someone, if they really want to focus on developing something or making change in the world, the first way to make change is a mindset. And the second thing is to take the first step. Like you're not going to learn how to walk unless you take steps.
Right.
And that's just how I became so good at connection. So
Yeah. Well, so how can people support you? Like, where can they find you? What's next? And how can we support your superhero activity?
there's so much going on now. I appreciate you asking. Quite honestly, it's just following the movement. We'll have opportunities coming up, I think, over the next year or so. But right now, I'm working on distributing content in a way where people can connect through video. People can connect. And when I say connect, basically, I'm doing videos or I'm doing shows or I'm interviewing people that people can essentially come and see or feel related to, I guess, through conversation. So we're really focused on developing content at this point because we feel like there's so many great stories out there. So how do we get people to share those stories?
Yeah.
So that's what Date While You Wait. And then obviously I have a bow tie line that I launched.
Yeah, it's kind of covered up by the gray and can you lift your head up? Oh,
Hey,
look
I'm
at
sorry.
that. And you hand make those, right?
I do. Every single one is handmade.
And that one
Yeah.
says happy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's the name of the bow tie company is Be Great Bow Ties.
Be great
And
bow ties.
yeah. And the idea behind it wasn't originally created by me. It was created by someone else, a gentleman by the name of Terrell Shaw. And he unfortunately committed suicide back in 2015. And I wanted to do something positive. Yeah, pretty sure it's 2015. I want to do something positive around suicide awareness. So I decided to start a bow tie line and focus on creating products to give people the ability to be unique in style. And then every purchase, a portion of 5% of the purchase goes to a suicide awareness organization. So now we're trying to figure out what organizations we're going to work with. But the goal is to set up Be Great days for students, for people to literally just wear bow ties and words that make them happy and give them the ability to just be unique within themselves as well as, donate to a great platform or a great cause.
Wow.
So yeah, that's the other thing I'm working on. Those are the two things.
So sweet. I looked for a bow tie before this interview. I was going to wear one just to sort of mirror you. It's so
Should have let me
cool.
know. I would have sent you one. You should let me know.
I'm going to buy one because I want to support you.
I
Jeez.
appreciate it.
All right. So there's a question I want to ask you about, and I'm going to toot your horn. How'd your meeting go with Gary Vee?
I appreciate it. It wasn't just me, which a lot of people think I met Gary Vee by myself, but it was
Okay, well, so what? You met Gary Vee.
it was an event.
You got to
Yeah,
press the guy's flesh, right? You got to
yeah.
press his
He
flesh?
he
Oh yeah.
he talked to me. He loves what I'm doing. It was great. It was great to just be able to hear someone of his stature say, "Hey, you're doing the right thing. Keep doing it, and you will be successful." And it was, I just shared with him a couple of things or a couple of issues that I've been having and opportunities I've been having. And he's just like, that's normal. Don't follow what people are telling you. Follow your heart. Like you have a good idea. The idea is genuine. So continue just to be you. But he's like, you need to ramp it up. So after the meeting, the biggest thing I got from it was like, step your game up, ramp it up. But I think he tells people that all the time. It's kind of like
I think you told me the exact same thing. Are you sure you're not like your own version of Gary Vee?
Well, I think for me, ramping it up, I guess ramping it up from a Gary Vee standpoint and ramping it up from my standpoint, two totally different levels.
Yeah. He probably wants you to get some capital and start going bigger, faster, right?
It's not even that. He just was basically saying, your platform's really, really successful because of connection. Don't run away from that.
Yeah.
Don't run away from that. He's like, people are going to tell you, hey, you should create an online course, or you should, monetize connection in a way where you're taking from your followers and your users. Yeah. And he's like, don't do that. Don't monetize that. He's like, give people the ability to continue to connect in a way. Yep. And it was just, and I've been doing that anyway, but I haven't been doing it on the level that me and him connected on. So really, really good insight.
Well, I got to tell you, you and I have some projects that have some similar missions, and I talk to a lot of people with projects with similar missions, and your grace with me, and I just felt really gotten by you. So clearly you're a good connector, and in the impact that it's had on me is it's made me really want to go above and beyond in supporting you and your brand, right? And so I have to agree with what Gary said, because it really is your superpower. And there are other connection projects out there where it feels like it's more about list building and not about connection as the underpinning. And yours is the real deal. And so I'm a huge champion, Thomas. Huge.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been great. Gary also told me, he said, you need to understand when to be selfish.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I'm getting more comfortable with. I'm not the type of person, like I said, to toot my own horn, because I don't care about the horn. I care about, people. I don't really care about I don't really care about the accolades. And Gary's like, listen, you should care about the accolades.
You should care about the accolades. I'm going to offer you something. Can I offer you something, Thomas?
Absolutely. Of course.
So I have a hard time with tooting. I mean, I don't have a hard time with tooting my own horn, but I do have a hard time with tooting my own horn, because I know that it needs to be done. I'm really proud of stuff that I do, but sometimes it feels disingenuous. And someone just told me something recently, a quote that's really helped me. It said, setting boundaries isn't about being a jerk and building walls and hoarding success. Setting boundaries is about showing people the door on how to love you. The door is over here. So it's not about hoarding. It's just saying, I need to be loved too. And money's just energy, right? It's a way to say, hey, we're going to have this exchange of energy. And that's really helped me. Yeah. It's just showing people the door. For what it's worth, it's helped me. I don't know if it will you, but
it makes a lot of sense. So thank you.
Yeah. So 3 closing questions. I wanted to ask you, what did you eat for lunch today, Thomas?
So I feel so weird telling you this, because it's never this great. Never this great. But today I had salmon, brown rice, and broccoli for lunch that I cooked. I cooked it.
You cooked that?
I did cook it, and I was
Oh
very.
man.
We had it maybe like 2 nights ago, and I had some leftover. So it was leftover salmon, broccoli, and brown rice that I cooked.
Nice.
Fresh broccoli too.
Fresh
Fresh
broccoli.
broccoli. Wasn't frozen. Fresh
Did you put
broccoli.
cheese on it or anything?
I did. My brother kept telling my 17-year-old brother, he's like, "Man, this would be so good with cheese." I'm like, that doesn't like mix with salmon and right. Like if it was
That's
broccoli
true.
and something else maybe.
That's true.
So he enjoyed it the way it was.
Okay. So my next question's a big one, big philosophical one. If you were magic, truly, if you had this one wish to change the world right now and you were granted it, what magical thing would you do to impact the world today?
Oh, this is good. This is like my calling to the world. So I hope everyone's watching.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would create a language, and I don't know what it may be. It could be a written language. It can be verbal language, but create a language of peace and unity that every nation could connect on. So what I mean is, if obviously we have, as a country, we have enemies. But what if there was a place, or there was a communication tool that we all can sit in and have a conversation and agree to disagree, but where it doesn't hurt our people, where we support each other? I think that's something that I'm still mind blown to this day. Like when I think about conversations with someone that may be a racist or someone that may be a bigot, I'm totally open to have that conversation and still disagree with their views even after we connect. But just me understanding why they feel the way they feel creates two people that are better for the world. And I think a lot of times if our world leaders had those types of conversations, rather than going into spaces with negative mindsets, we'll be in a better place. So I'm a magic power. If I had the power, I would create a language or a space where we can sit down and have a deeper conversation on how we can better support not only our countries, but our whole planet.
Amazing. Yeah. Cool. I think you're already on your way to creating that language just by getting people to sit down and start, right? All right. So I got to say, I feel a little intimidated because you are so positive. I think I'm much more curmudgeonly than you are. But let me ask you this. You must have shitty days some days.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to know what your SOS plan is when you're having a hard day. How do you take care of yourself and get up and out of that hard day? What's your way?
There's several. The biggest thing I do, and it's strange, but it works for me, is I go through old albums or old like one of my biggest go-tos is one of my yearbooks, my high school yearbook. I think I have over 1,000 signatures in it. And I just go and I read the stuff. I read it like, hey, it was great knowing you. You're gonna do great things. Or I look at old photos or old cards or letters I have from people that have either said I was going to do something great, and also people that said I wasn't going to be anything. It's great motivation. So, I do that a lot. I'm big on basketball, so I try to go out and shoot some hoops whenever my mind is wandering. And I have certain songs that when I throw in a song, I'm just I'm in a groove.
Give me your favorite. Give me your favorite. I want to know.
My favorite. I'm not right now. The biggest, and this song is probably not children friendly, but the biggest song is "Devastated" by Joey.
Are you gonna? Can you sing a little bit of it for me?
Joey Badass. I'm not gonna sing that. I'm not.
I want to put a link to it in the comments.
Joey Badass is Devastated, and Mark Ronson and Mystical, Feel Right.
Okay.
There's some songs kids should not listen to, but they will get your energy up, and they overall they have a positive. They're very positive, but they have a lot of curses and things like that. But,
right on.
They're my go-tos right now.
Right on. Well, I'm going to go check out those songs. I know we're just about at our time here, and I'm going to have you back on. I think that you are going to go out and do something with our East Coast crew to do some connecting. And if you go off to Europe anytime soon, maybe we can go together. That would be really fun. I'd love to sit out and listen with you. I won't play Connect 4. I'll just listen to folks.
So funny. I got a call last night. Somebody wants me to go to Germany. We're gonna see if we can make it happen.
I'm going to be there the whole month of July.
I literally last night I'm watching the game and I get a phone call. How
Tell
do you
me
like to bring
where.
DIY to Germany? That was literally the conversation. I got a text from a
Berlin?
friend of mine, and he's like, "Hey man, we're building this thing out in Germany, and have you ever done DIY there?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "We want to bring you on board, so let me figure out the details."
Well, I also know you're going to set boundaries with me because you're going to be tooting your own horn. You don't need to toot mine, which I'm going to make sure that you honor that. But if you ever want to do something in Germany while I'm already there in July, I would love to give you, any support that you need.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I speak a little German. Um, Let me ask you one last question.
Yeah,
Where can they see you? Where can we see you in a subway next? Do you know ahead of time? Is there a calendar or a schedule where people can
there,
come out and find you?
there is a calendar that the world doesn't know. I have it on my calendar, and the next I'm going to be out tomorrow, so I'll be here in New York tomorrow.
Which
I don't know what
station?
some. I don't know yet. See, it's hard to choose stations because I usually check the subway schedule
Yeah,
and see like what's running and what's not running and things like that. So it's hard, but I'm probably gonna do 59th Street, Columbus Circle. That's what I'm
59th
like.
Street, Columbus Circle. You heard it here first. Unless there's some kind of magical, awful delay, that's where Thomas will be tomorrow.
I will be there. I'm gonna do it from 6 to 9, and I will be posting it later on, either today or tomorrow morning. Normally I post the day of. But to your point, we do have a calendar. I just don't use it yet because I just haven't had an opportunity to like build our DIY for months to come when I'm going to do it.
Yep.
So we try to do like a month in advance and take it from there. But I'll be in the subway tomorrow for sure. I miss it. So when I miss it, I have to do it.
Yeah.
There's no ifs and buts.
Well, after we talked last week, I think I'm going to keep a couple chairs in my office. And just because of you, I'm going to go sit out by myself out front of my office more often because I've gotten so involved with administrating stuff that I don't get to get out as much. So I really appreciate that inspiration and nudge. And you guys, I just, for those of you that are watching and those of you that will watch the recording of this, Thomas is the real deal. And we partner with a lot of listening projects, and there are a lot of projects around human connection right now, and there are a lot of them that are the real deal. But you're doing something unique, and your energy is pure, and your capacity to connect and your generosity with me really made an impact on me. So I was really excited to bring you on.
It's truly a pleasure. Like I appreciate the kind words. I think obviously you've asked me a lot of questions about some of the things I'm doing, but I think what you guys are doing is just as incredible. And what's really mind blowing to me is that when we spoke, we both realized that we both have opportunities for growth. Right? It doesn't matter who we are; we all have opportunities for growth. And I think
That's right.
when you can start a conversation off with, "Hey, I'm vulnerable. This is me being vulnerable," and be real about it, then it can lead to greater things to come. And I think that was something that was apparent when I spoke with you a couple weeks back. And I would challenge you when you do sit outside, take a Connect Four with you. Just put a Connect Four out there with you and see what people do. I'm just saying.
And a Coke bottle with a Gerber Daisy.
If that's your thing, I'm just saying it. People,
that's your trademark, my friend.
It's not my trademark. It's like games is, but people will connect with you when they feel they can relate. And what's going to happen is people are going to walk by and they're going to see that Connect Front and they're like, man, haven't played in a while. Do you mind if I play a game? And I think that's where I guess my magic power is. I have really good ways to like relate with people. I just know how to find ways to relate with people based on what I feel we're compatible at. And, next for me is I'm trying to do a big Father's Day thing, but I'm working out the kinks. But I want to do something for dads. I want to do something really cool for dads, and I'm having trouble coming up with ideas. And what I think I'm going to do, a photo shoot for dads. Like literally, I'm going to have dads come with their kids. No matter who you are, your kids can be my age. Everybody's welcome, and share a photo and maybe turn it into some type of card or something. But I want to do something for dads because we did something for Mother's Day as well. So, but just because I don't want anything. I just get really, really excited to share great interaction with people. That's just who I am. So thank you. But you're doing great work as well. And
we'll talk
really
about that. We'll talk about that another time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more and following more. And anyone, if you have ideas for Thomas's Father's Day initiative, you can put it in the Facebook comments below this video, and I'll make sure and tag him in it.
That'd be
All
great.
right.
Thank you.
All right, you. It was good to
Enjoy.
see your face. I'm going to go and buy a bow tie right now.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for the
So
support.
excited. Yeah.
I
All right.
appreciate you. Enjoy the
All
rest of
right.
your day.
You too. Take care, Thomas.